Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is September 11th, 2021. As many of you know, that is an important date in American history, as it is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. That's crazy, 20 years ago, wow. Whew. We all know the term 9/11, never forget. And that is a great term, because I will definitely never forget that day. It's still really bright in my mind. I remember that day perfectly. That's kind of what this video is about. I just kind of want to ask, do you guys remember where you were and what you were doing when you first heard about it? So I'll just kind of get right into my day, what I was doing. I was working for a company called Waushara Home Building Center, which was a lumber yard. But they also ran a construction crew out of there, and I worked on that. We did a lot of remodeling up there, home building and whatnot. And I happened to be on a beautiful little lake called Little Silver Lake in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. That particular day, we were tearing off an old nasty roof on an old cabin. I remember it was kind of a tough job. Many layers of shingles, trying to get all that stuff ripped off. In fact, my memory is so good of that day, I remember particularly cutting this section out of the roof off with the Sawzall. I remember what Sawzall I was using. It's pretty interesting how you remember that stuff. So we usually started work about 7:30 in the morning. It was just me and another guy, a younger guy that was working with me. And we took our first break around 10 o'clock. So we both got down off the roof. We sat in separate cars. Kind of took our break separate. He chilled out in his car, listened to some music. I chilled out in mine, listened to some music. And I had turned on the radio. And over the radio, the DJs were talking. Something was happening. But I couldn't put my eye on what was going on. And that went on for a few minutes. I remember stopping, getting out of the car. And I walked over by my partner where he was sitting. And I said, hey man, I don't know what you're listening to, but there's something on the radio. Something's going on. And I kind of mentioned, I think it might be a school shooting or something like that. So I went back to the truck. He turned on the radio. Next thing you know, we heard what really happened. Of course, we were in shock. Not sure how to take that news and what to do with it. We ended up chilling out, listening to the radio. Probably damn near till lunchtime. At about that point, it was just when we were getting cell phones and stuff, and I happened to have one. My boss had called me just to see what was happening and see if we heard. And at that time, we didn't know what was going on yet. I think maybe 2 planes hit the tower by then. There might have been rumors that there was more in the air. So it was some scary stuff, man. Whew. I think a lot of what we felt, even my partner that day, we were angry of what was happening. We just couldn't believe it. You know, your initial reaction is anger, like who the hell would do this to us? So afternoon, we continued on working on the roof, listening to the radio. You know, the day ended at 4, and we both went home, kind of confused. Wild Rose was about a 40-hour commute to my home here in Montello. So of course, had the radio on the whole way. And again, just didn't know what the hell was happening. Couldn't believe it. Probably got home around 5 o'clock. Of course, ran in the house and turned on the TV. And I also remember this. At the time, the TV was in this room, which is now a bedroom. TV was right over there, kind of in the corner, 20 years ago. I lived in this house 20 years ago, but I did not own it. I was renting it at the time. It looks a lot different from then. It didn't have this porch and deck. It had like an old plywood siding, and it had an old rotten off roof. So it's changed quite a bit in 20 years. It's actually due for a new roof already. Anyway, back to the story, of course. Watched TV when we got home. After chilling at home after work for a while, ended up heading over to the in-laws at the time. They cooked up a meal over there. And of course, TV all night long, trying to take in everything that was happening. I actually remember my mother-in-law at the time was cooking. She even started crying while she was cooking. I actually don't remember exactly what we ate. I think it was something chili based, if I remember correctly. I do know afterwards I kind of got sick myself. I don't know if it was from all the nerves of what I was seeing. Maybe the nerves mixed with the chili recipe. Regardless, it was a tough night and one I will never forget. But after that, after dinner, everything is kind of blurry again. I'm sure I was back home watching a lot more TV. So there you have it. That's my 9/11 never forget story, which I never will forget. The memories are embedded in my brain. It was a day like I've never had in my life. There were some positives that came out of it. America came together and we were strong as I've ever seen it, which is hard to say these days. I do wonder if something happened like that today, would we all be divided over it? Would we find a way to argue about the situation? Or would we come back together like we did back then 20 years ago? That's one thing I do miss about post 9/11 was the camaraderie we all felt. And now we are missing that big time in America. So on this day, September 11th, 2021, it is gorgeous out here in Wisconsin. It's supposed to be actually 80 something today. We also had similar weather 20 years ago on this day. I believe it was probably in the low 80s. Very warm and sunny. It's kind of like a replica. So today I'm going to remember, never forget. I'm going to celebrate America like I do every day. Land of the free. And I'm all about freedom, man. So that's it. Like I said, I would love for you guys to post in the comments below where you were and what you were doing, and anything else you might want to leave. I'm interested in hearing it. Never forget, 9/11. I'm out.